Welcome to the Brain Jam, everyone. I was just talking to myself over here for a moment. So good to see some new and familiar faces. I am Meg Bolger. Let's see if I made a slide for myself. I didn't. I'm Meg Bolger. I am the captain of the ship over here at Facilitator Cards, and I am really excited to be exploring today with all of you. So I'm using Mmhmm right now as my digital camera, and we're going to get into all of the goodness that we can use it for. So if this is your first Brain Jam, Brain Jams are a place where we explore facilitation tools, techniques, or technologies. I've kind of leaned towards using them for exploring technologies like most consistently because I'm a bit of a technology geek and somebody who just really enjoys learning new things and then getting to share those things with other people. So thank you so much for being those other people today. So today's focus of the Brain Jam is learning Mmhmm. So hour one is we're going to do a basic setup of facilitator scenes and kind of explore some of those kind of fun and functional features. And then hour two, which is totally optional in the Brain Jams, but is often really a good time, is we'll just do some more exploration and have time for more questions. There's a lot of features in Mmhmm that we won't be able to get to in the first hour. So we're going to do some maybe testing out and trying of those things. And it'll just be a space for deeper Q&A and also like deeper connections. A lot of people get to, people get to connect with each other and like make new friends. Andrew's making jokes in the chat already. He will be here all day, which is the best. Mmhmm as a company, I really find fascinating, and we don't need to get into any of that right now, but just know that they know their name is very interesting and they did it on purpose. It makes you do like a little performance every time you go to say it. So we'll all have fun being like, I have a question about Mmhmm today, and we'll get to hear that word like 15 million times. So that'll be fun. All right. So I'm going to do a bit of a warm up. I'm going to do a bit of a warm up by using one of my other favorite softwares, AHA Slides. So if you have your phone nearby, it's easiest to access AHA Slides on your phone, or rather like interact with it. But if you just want to open up this link in the browser, in your browser on your computer, you can also do that. Link is coming in the chat. And, oh, I'm in the way. Okay. You could also point your phone at this QR code and it should bring you there. But the link is in the chat and you can just press that button in the chat, ahaslides.com/BJAMF. That's where we're going. That's where it looks like most of have gotten us to. Okay, excellent. All right, so here is my first question for you. Whoa, we skipped a lot of questions. All right. Okay, my first question is, what is the place or what are the places that you call home? So for me, places that I call home are Vermont and Ireland, where I was born and spent some time growing up. So we've got England in the house with a puppy dog face. Ooh, more folks from England, specific parts of the UK, Boston, Cape Cod, summer camp. Yes, cool. I love that. Ontario, Canada, more Ontario, Toronto, Colorado. Okay, wonderful. Friends, yes, love it. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Costa Rica. See, you don't always get to see those right next to each other, and nowhere in particular. Currently, Georgia. All right, we got some nomadic people in this call, which is great. Okay, so next question. Which of the following software have you previously tried? So if you're like, I don't recognize those names, then it's probably not that one. OBS, ECamm Live, a different software than OBS or ECamm, but it's similar, or none of the above. Okay, awesome. All right, so maybe some of you even tried out OBS with me. So OBS and ECamm are both ways. Oh, you can't choose multiple. Okay, my bad on setting that up, Duncan. We can we fix that right now? Yes. I don't know what's going to happen on your end, but I just fixed it. So you should be able to pick more than one now. So OBS, ECamm, those types of softwares are things that allow you to do this, which is I would call like webcam manipulation, or kind of like allow you to really choose how you want to show up on your webcam. So kind of similar to Mmhmm, or they're similar to Mmhmm in that way. I think they're both way more sophisticated, which makes them actually way harder to learn. Yeah, I was just curious. So some folks, we got like a split between like people who have like explored those other softwares, maybe even use them, and people who have never used any of this, people call it Zoom magic. This is Zoom magic before. Awesome. Looks like you can't change it once you submit it. That makes sense, and was just my bad on setting up the software. Okay, last question. What sparked your interest in the Brain Jam today? Why did you show up? You could say, somebody told me I had to be here, and that's a legitimate answer. OBS was hard. Yeah. I hate slide sharing in Zoom. Yes, me too. I've got upcoming meetings, been watching Mmhmm, haven't made time to play with it before. Beautiful. I seem nice. That's great. I hope I will retain that belief by the end. And it's an alternative to screen share. That's my big thing too. I'm not screen sharing right now, and I think it's so much better because I don't get disoriented by it, and I think you get disoriented less by it as well. Also, since a lot of people on this call are probably in that facilitator world, one cool thing you can do when you're not screen sharing is you all are seeing me big in a spotlight, but I can go back and actually go into gallery view and see all of you. And so that is just so nice. Instead of screen sharing, you all can see my screen, but I can actually see your reactions, and actually watching you nod along right now is like much more satisfying than just seeing myself. Not that I don't enjoy that sometimes. Okay. All right. I think that was all my questions. With AHA slides, we might use that more later. Gallery view is big. Excellent. So yeah, that's great. Love it. Okay, so all of what I just did, this thing that we're currently still in this view, having these slides and my kind of original view here, all of that is Mmhmm, and that is what we are about to learn how to set up together. So we're gonna, so we're gonna basically do those 3 scenes, or like what I think of as scenes. This is kind of like your stock camera scene, how to use the slides that are built into Mmhmm. I made these 20 minutes ago. And then how to set up a screen share like this or like this in Mmhmm. That's what we'll spend like the first 20 minutes, half hour on. And if you get lost in that, then we'll spend the like kind of latter 20 minutes catching you up. Okay, so if you have Mmhmm on your computer, now is the time to open it. And if you did download it before this moment, and before you hopped onto this Zoom call, you should be able to adjust your camera in Zoom to be pulling from Mmhmm. So down at the bottom of your Zoom interface where it says mute and stop camera, there's a little arrow right next to that. And what I want you to do with that little arrow is select the Mmhmm camera. Okay, great. I see that is working for many of you, and it has totally changed how you look. Okay, perfect. So if
I don't see that as an option.
What's that, Charlotte?
I don't see that as an option to choose.
To choose Mmhmm as your camera in Zoom?
Right, I don't see that as an option. Do I need to disable it? Do I need to turn it off?
Turn what off?
Use it? Mmhmm.
I'm not sure. Somebody said they had to restart their computer for it to work. So it might be that. And the honest truth is it's not essential for it to work. It just allows me to kind of like see what you all are doing a little bit easier. So it's okay if that isn't working. As long as you have up, then that's all that matters. For the moment, we can troubleshoot it after we do the build and make sure that it can be brought into Zoom. But for the moment, it's mostly just so that I can see I can see for most people that you're in and you're working in that interface. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do in for the next 2 minutes is just click around. I just want you to like press the buttons and play around with the backgrounds, change the room. Don't worry about getting lost. I will like reorient you, but just like play around for the next 2 minutes so that when I start giving you instructions, you can ideally do less of the random clicking. So try to get all your random clicking out for the next 2 minutes. And I'm probably going to join you.
Sorry, you said the rooms and anything else?
Nothing specific, just click around in like
Okay.
just try things out without knowing what they do and just like see what happens.
Okay.
Elizabeth, if you need to restart your computer, you will be able to rejoin. Yes.
I'm going to restart my computer as well, just
Okay,
because
Charlotte.
I want to be able to see what it looks like in Zoom.
All right, we'll try that. Okay, so for the folks who are, all right, Rachel, it works. What'd you do?
I left the setting on Zoom and closed and opened it back up again.
Okay, perfect. So in a moment, we're going to start what I would call building in and actually like purposefully creating some setups. If while we're building, you're like, Meg, it's not working for me, I can't get it to like do the thing that you're getting it to do, please hold your questions for like 15 minutes. Try to follow along. If it doesn't work or like you're just stuck, please know we will spend time troubleshooting at like kind of in that second half of the 15 minutes or like the second half of the first hour, we'll spend some time troubleshooting. But I want to make sure we can kind of, for the people that the initial thing is working for, we can guide you through. And for anybody who's like stuck and really needs some troubleshooting, know that we will spend time with you as well. So you can throw your questions in the chat, but just know that we're going to move through the build and then we'll kind of take time to get into the troubleshooting. Okay. All right. So if you are on, the first scene that we're going to build is going to be this one, where it's just your camera. And oddly enough, it's kind of tricky to do that in. So, okay. So this is what we're going to do. Let's see. I want you to see my, which means I need to stop using it. Okay, perfect. Not perfect yet. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna spotlight myself for everybody here. So you're now going to be watching me build in. Okay. So All right. So when you open up a brand new scene in Mmhmm, it defaults usually to one of these rooms. And your rooms are basically your background. And some of them move, some of them don't. But what I want to do is show you how to make your initial room just your actual background. So what you're going to do is you're going to go up to this presenter tab and you're going to hit presenter. Okay. And then we're going to go where it says frame. We're going to click the middle frame. And that should bring like most of your room, but not all of your room into view. Okay. So now we need to unclick center me. So right below the frame, there is a button that says center me. And what that does is it's kind of a freaky thing. It tries to keep your eyes in the middle of the square. Okay. I find that sea-sickening, so we need to turn it off. So unclick center me. And then to make your window big, like to make this take up the entirety of it, you need to press these two X's. So there's one on the side here, and there's one on the side here. And that should bring your full video into frame. So right now we are working in Mmhmm. We are on the presenter tab, and we've just gone through the centering or using the middle frame and kind of getting rid of our background. So I can see Amber, Rachel, Andrew, Tatiana, you have made it. You have made it this far. Okay. Travis, Rachel, Travis, did you get lost at the this part?
I'm the same as Duncan. My free trial had expired, so I had to. I was going to purchase it anyway. I purchased it, had to reload. So yes, I got a little lost.
Okay, so if you're at this part where you can still see like the background,
yep.
The little blue X's, you just need to click those and it'll make it more full screen. And then you kind of just actually need to you can click and move yourself around. So you can, you want to just center that image. And okay. If you're like, it worked, but yeah, there you go. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so the last thing, so if you can't find the blue X's, again, they show up on the side of your frame. You can also just drag these right here on the side of your screen. They just drag over, and you can do that as well. Okay, so if you've gotten this, okay, yeah, you're getting there, Rachel. I think you might just need to resize it so that it takes up the whole screen. Yeah, there you go. So last thing we want to do for this main scene is a lot of you have a watermark in the bottom right where it says Mmhmm. So if you go up to rooms, this is going to be on your actual computer, like where it says file, edit, all of that, kind of like above the main window. You find the tab that says rooms right at the bottom. There should be something that says hide watermark. And when you click that, it'll disappear. Okay, so we made our first scene, and now you can use Mmhmm as your main webcam in Zoom, and it'll look exactly the same to everybody else. Okay, all right. So let's make a slide scene. So it kind of auto saves it, Amber. Each one is up at the top. You see this bar that says untitled. That is your presentation. It'll look like this probably for you. Right at the top, I think it should just say untitled. But yeah, this is kind of being saved as a presentation, what you're building. So let's make our slide scene now. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit this button down at the bottom left called New Slide. So go ahead and select text. And you could write in maybe your name, like Meg, and then write in is a champion and then hit done. So again, that's down here at the bottom left. So new slide, and then type in whatever you want.
Very sorry. I don't have that. I don't have new slide.
And don't have new slide.
I don't have it either.
Oh
I'm
no.
on Windows.
I'm on Windows. Yep.
Does it look
started, but
fundamentally different on Windows?
Yes, it
There's a
does.
little TT button on the left, and that should let you do the text.
Okay.
That's
have a
adding
new
text to a slide, I think, but it's not creating a new slide.
It will after you do it.
Okay, so this is where I will apologize to the Windows users. I was not able to build on a Windows because I do not have a Windows computer. And the idea that it would look fundamentally different in Windows did not cross my mind until this very moment. So if you are a Windows user, you might need to hang tight and we can troubleshoot all together in a breakout room after we do the initial build. There are people who are helping each other out in the chat. So if you are that, if you're there, then please do that. If you're able to follow along, but you are using Windows. And I'm so sorry, Windows people. This is one of those like Meg has to get 2 computers in order to teach people software now. Okay.
I restarted my computer, but now I can't find the application.
Okay, Charlotte, I'm going to ask you to just hang tight, and we will, when we get through this build, we will try to troubleshoot and find it with you. Because I'm not sure what computer you're on, and it will take us a minute to help you out. So just hang tight, and we'll get into seeing if we can find it in just a few minutes. Okay, so for those of us who have the slides and have your interface looking like mine, one thing I want to draw your attention to is just like you can move this around, put it on either side of your head. And what I do when I create, I want this slide to actually be a fundamentally different scene than my initial one, right? Without it, I want to keep this by itself. So when you go to new slide, I then select new scene. So now I have kind of 2 entirely different scenes I can switch back and forth between. So I have kind of a slide scene and I have my presenter only scene. And the way to do that again is just to hit, when you're selected on your new slide, is to hit new scene. And it will kind of like slice it and put it into its own little category.
Sorry, can you run that by me one more again?
Yep. So we've got, so when we make a new slide, and then we want to like have that be its own separate scene so that we can move between them more easily. You just select this button right above it that says new scene, and it will kind of chop that slide off of that scene and make it so they kind of stand alone by themselves. Okay, we got Windows help in the chat. All right, we're gonna do one more. We're gonna make one more thing, and that is the. Am I gonna do this? So I'm gonna show you how to do the screen share option. And if you're on a Mac and you haven't given your computer permission, it's going to give you an error message. So please just know that, and I will walk you through how to give it that permission. Okay. So we're going to do one more thing. We're going to do new slide. And we are going to say this Mac or iOS device. And this is going to be our way to screen share in the computer, or like in our window instead of in like having to use the screen share in Zoom. So I'm going to open, before I do that, I'm going to open something I want to screen share. Oh yeah, we got our slides window. Okay, so new slide, this Mac, and I'm going to share my AHA slides. Where is my AHA slides? Well, that's okay. I'll share my OBS. Why is that not working? Okay, so when you do that in Mac, this is too trippy. I gotta fix this. Okay. All right. This Mac. Share a window. I don't know why my I'm so sorry, everybody. My my Chrome window is not showing up for me to show you, and it's too trippy to like show you a different window on my computer. So let me just try another thing here. Okay. So what I did right there is I hit new slide, this Mac or iOS device, and then I clicked share a window. And then it will pop up next to me on my screen. So Rachel got it working. If you're on a Mac, it will probably say you have not enabled permissions for to see this. And the way you need to do that is if you go into system preferences and you go into privacy and security, you want to go to screen recording. And when you go into privacy and security screen recording and you unlock it, you'll then be able to enable to have the ability to see your screen. And it does need to quit and it comes right back. So if you quit and then open it back up, it'll land you right back where we just were. So you can do that and it should be able to pop right back up. Okay. So for me, when I screen record, I want the screen recording to be, or when I'm screen sharing, I want that to be as big as possible. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make this a new scene so that my screen recording is its own scene, or my screen share is its own scene here. And then we're going to click this button right above it that says full. So again, where I was is I selected new scene. I shared something on my computer. I selected a specific thing to share, and then I hit new scene, and then I hit this button right above it that says full. So we've got a couple people who have got that. Awesome. So last piece to that is if you go up here to where we've got this presenter tab, you now want to click on the left-hand frame where it says show presenter as silhouette. And then you'll be able to float right in front of your screen share. Amber, I see that you're like, I'm so close, but yeah, there you go, you got it. Okay, so after you get it to the full screen, you go to the presenter tab, your frame is the one on the far left, and that will float you as a silhouette. And then like Tatiana, if you want to make yourself smaller, yeah, you just scale. Perfect. There you go. And you can even select an anchor point right above it. Yes. If you prefer doing it as a as like a little circle, you have to re-enable center me, and then it can let you do this thing. I personally like the silhouette. I think it's more, I think it's a little less trippy. And if you're like, oh, I don't like this moving background, this is when you would want to change the room. The room is that background. So if your screen share like mine isn't taking up the full window, then you would want to change that background to be something neutral or something that you want. Okay. All right, so some of us have now a presenter only slide. We should have our scene with the slides on our window, and then we should have a screen share scene. and you can just click back and forth between these in Mmhmm. All right, so I see, and if you didn't make them new scenes, so like if you're like, oh, now it's showing me as like this floating silhouette in all of them, that's because they're all in the same scene, even if they're separate slides. So again, you want to be able to like slice off so that you can set yourself up differently in each one. The scene is kind of like the style guide for how you want everything to look. So yeah, okay. I see there's like a good few people who have like made it this far and are able to like play around with this. And then there are some people who are lost and have lots of questions. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to remove myself from the spotlight, come back to my gallery view. Whoa, I gotta switch my camera. Okay. All right. Okay, Zuzka is sharing me as the trippiest thing I've ever seen. Okay, awesome. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna create a few breakout rooms. And I'm going to and they're going to be pretty distinctly different. So here are the three options for you to join a breakout room. There's going to be one that's just going to be a playground. I would recommend that for people who have like gotten as far as the guidance that we set up today. I would say go in the playground and you can just play around with it and be like, hey, I just figured out this thing, everyone. And then people can follow along with you. We've got and then we've got two others. We've got PC help and we've got Mac help. Okay. So if you're like, I need PC help, you're going to jump into that room. And if you're like, I need Mac help, you're going to jump into that room. Okay. We'll be in those breakout rooms for about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll come back to the main room probably to close out with just some general Q&A before we kind of wrap up hour one. All right. I'm going to open up those rooms and you should have the option to select into whichever one you'd like to be. And if you're like, I don't want to interact with people, just stay here in the main room and you can avoid everybody. Okay. Alrighty, I'm going to open up those rooms and I am going to do my best to hop between help. Cool. Do you all see the options to select those rooms? Okay, great. I see those. I see that. All right. Okay. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi.
You found the software and you are in a view. So that's awesome.
I have no idea how I got here though.
Okay.
I did choose effects and
Yes.
center me, and I see the different frames. So I
Yes.
fooled around with that a little bit.
Okay. So if you
Don't know
go,
anything else.
okay, well, one, this is great. And we can get you all the other things now because you got this far.
Okay.
So, so this one that you're in right now, my thought is I want to help you make it so that it just looks normal.
Okay.
Okay. That way you can use, we can kind of, once you know the normal one, then we can kind of layer on top of it.
Okay.
Okay. So, when you, Mmhmm, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it so that you can see my Mmhmm. Okay. So you are, so up here in the presenter tab in Mmhmm,
Mm-hmm.
we've got frames, and that's the thing that like moves you between this kind of circle piece, right? When you're in this frame, the middle frame,
Middle one, okay.
when you're in the middle frame and you click on your face, like your camera, you can move that around.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So if that's centered, there should be some tabs on the side that has like an X on it. Like right on the side of.
On the side of what?
On the side of your the side of your video itself. So like if you click and move around your face, there should be basically kind of like resize markers on the side of the frame that are blue.
Yes, yes, yes.
So if you click and drag those out or press the X, you'll become kind of full screen, and then you just need to center the camera. Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, so whoa. Okay, so that's that piece. And then you see the little logo that's in your window, in your video, the little watermark.
Yes, yes.
We'll get rid of that if you go up to the very top of your computer where it says rooms. Like where file and edit is, it's like outside
all the way up. Okay.
All the way up, yep. Where it says rooms, at the very bottom of that, it should say hide watermark.
Hide watermark, gotcha.
And that's it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so my thought is I'll show you how to do the slide thing.
Okay.
And
now,
then
so let me ask you a question just about this.
Okay, yes.
So when I open say the next time,
yep,
will it default to this view?
Yes, it will.
Okay, and is that a good thing or not?
I think it's a good thing because this no one knows right now. I don't know that you're using right now, right?
Oh, okay.
Because
so
it looks exactly the same.
Don't see. Oh, okay. I got you. I
so
got you.
This I'm showing you my but this is what you would see. This is all you see as the user in Zoom, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So my thought is like this situation, I'm just doing for tutorial purposes. No one will ever see this background.
Okay.
On the back end.
Good to know.
So my thought is I'll show you how to do this, how to make a slide, and then I'm gonna hop over to the PC and see if I can help them. I doubt I can, but
okay,
we'll do that.
Okay, so let me ask again.
Yeah.
So when we're done with all of this and I close this out, the next time I open it up, I'm not going to have to do this first part again because this is what I'll see.
I believe like I'm like nervous to say 100% yes, but yeah, that's how it works. Yep.
If not, I'll sort of write down directions just in case, but okay, great.
Yep. Yeah, as far as I know, it opens up the last presentation that you're in.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
So
now what if I were using a webcam with this instead of the camera on my laptop? Would it make it?
That's totally fine. In the software itself, you will just tell it where to pull your camera from.
Okay.
So in at the top right, it says mic and camera.
Yep. There we go. Yep.
So when you select camera, you can pick what kind of webcam or where you want it to pull your webcam.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want to learn how to make the slides?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
I do.
Okay, great. Okay, so all we're gonna do, and I'm gonna show you just the interface here again. So what we're gonna do is right now yours looks like you just have one scene at the bottom that says presenter only. Is that true?
Yep. Yes, it does.
Okay, so right above that where it says new slide, hit new slide, and then select text.
New slide in text. New slide. Text.
And just to let you know, everything I'm saying is recorded right now, so I will send you that as well.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
Yep. And then new slide and text, and then go ahead and just type in the word title. And then this is where you type body text. You can just type in title and body text.
Okay.
Right underneath it, just so you can kind of see where it appears. And then if you hit
Okay,
hit enter.
Yep.
Do you see that now?
I do on the
Floating next
slide.
to your head?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So you can now resize that or move it around.
You mean the words?
The text itself, or the slide itself. You can't resize the words. It kind of auto does that for you.
All right, so I've typed in titles and body text and I'm clicking done now.
Yep.
Okay, and then I can, oh, I see. Okay, wait a minute. So how do I select just the words to move them around?
Yeah, I would say try clicking directly on them.
I see the hand to grab, but it's grabbing the picture.
Grabbing you instead.
Yeah.
Let's go, you see down here where it says room default in next to the word appearance.
I see appearance.
Yep, and does it say room default?
No, it says billboard.
Oh, okay, it says billboard. Okay. Go to
review
classic.
default. Oh, okay. Let me go to classic. Okay.
Okay, and then okay, I think I know what's happening here. So what's happening is your slides are in full mode instead of shoulder mode. So right above, right in the middle of the bar, right. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, now you should be able to move it. Perfect. There it is.
Great. And now
then you
can I move myself so that I'm not in the way?
You can, or you can resize it. Yep, you can drag yourself over, or you could resize the slides.
How do I resize?
With that blue.
Oh, with
bar.
the blue bar. Okay,
Yep.
great. I got you. All right, so let me resize.
Okay, I'm gonna hop over to the PC room real quick just to see how they're doing, and then we'll bring all of us back to the main room in just a few minutes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
One, if that makes sense. Like I haven't got the option to default back to presenter without just clicking slides off.
No, that's what mine says too. It also, you have
okay.
slides off or shoulder or full.
Yeah, okay. So maybe we just don't have slides as an option.
So your slides are there, Rachel.
Yeah, so when where you at the bottom of yours have like your like this where the slides are gone.
Yep.
As an option, like along the bottom row.
Okay.
We don't have that. We have a set of options under our video that says slides off, shoulder or full. So I clicked slides off now, shoulder looks like that, and then full looks like that.
Yes.
So to get back to it, I'd have to just go to slides off instead of where it is on yours on the Mac.
Okay, so
if that makes sense.
Your slides just don't appear in the same way.
Basically.
Like, right down here with this piece.
Yeah, we don't get that first one.
You don't get the presenter, this first one. This is like one of those like, man, am I really gonna have to buy a PC in order to like see this? I just want to like say, I'm so sorry that it's like a completely different experience and that I didn't anticipate that at all.
No, the rest of it's been pretty much roughly where you like.
Yeah,
pretty similar. Okay.
Were you feel better, Meg? Like, their help section on their website doesn't have like their screenshots are not the same as what I'm seeing. So
this is the thing with softwares is like they update so much that then their screenshots are out of date, which is brutal. Did you all have anything that you were like, this is just completely beyond me how this works that I can try to answer, even though I don't know your interface?
Can you tell us how you got to having a screen share behind you and then your little head in the corner?
This one?
That one.
Okay. So new slide.
New slide. Okay.
And then for me, it says this Mac or iOS device. I don't know what it says on your computer.
Okay. I don't have a new slide button. So let me see.
Ooh, Rachel knows where the slide button is.
It was the TT.
Yeah, that's just new text.
That's new text.
Oh, so we've got TT and then we've got add image or video, add screen share or import.
Okay, add screen share.
Yeah. So I've got that.
Oh yeah, I did that. Yeah, you're right. I did know how to do it.
Okay, so it's coming up. So that's, you're screen sharing that right now. You're
Yes.
right. So where it says shoulder versus full, you want to hit full.
Full. Okay.
Okay. And then go to presenter, the presenter tab. And then you want to hit the frame to the far left. Yes. And then you can
And then I
resize
can
yourself.
shrink me, hopefully. Okay. And then
Yeah,
I
you
can-
did it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel this is like this is the sweet spot
Yep.
view.
Yep.
To find it. Although it's
Okay.
definitely not working with my headphones.
Oh, it's not keeping your headphone. Yeah, it's doing its best with the green screen, but unless you have a green screen, it's definitely like, you know, it's its best chance.
Sure.
Yeah. Andrew, what about you? Oh yeah, you got it.
Sorta.
I think you do. You just have to resize yourself and then you've got the exact same setup that I do.
It is just moving so painfully slowly.
Oh, okay. It's just too heavy for your computer.
I also have like 80 tabs open in my Chrome.
Could be
notes.
that. Could be that. Okay, I'm gonna hop back to the main room and probably bring us all back to finish out the first hour.
Oh, we're all back to the main room, or?
How's it going, everyone?
Hey, oh, you joined us. Hello, Meg.
I'm sorry that it took me so long. We had
Oh, it's
lots of
okay.
crises to solve, but hopefully you had fun with each other.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I think so. It was not, we've been chatting about OBS and figuring some stuff out and mirroring and lighting and all kinds of stuff. This is a
Awesome.
really cool program.
Okay,
Does-
great.
Does Meg, does have a, sorry, Mike, if you, fun fact, if you bring up OBS while is running, everything freezes and falls over.
Oh, no.
I'll tell you, I'm running a new Mac, a brand new one, and it's working fine. But I don't mean to say that to throw it in your face. I'm just letting you know that it is possible because this thing, this that I was doing, this is OBS.
Cool. Well, clearly then, so you can one-up me with the brand new Mac, but I'm PC, so I can just buy a bigger graphics card for less money.
Yeah, it's good call. Absolutely. You're about to ask a question that I probably would love to answer for everybody. So can you hold it? And I'm going to bring everybody back to the main room for like a 10-minute closeout, and then we'll answer it there. And I love that you came back and said, I can buy a bigger graphics card. I think that's the best comeback so far. Okay. I'll see you all in a minute. Close breakout rooms. My goodness. Teaching software with software is really something else. Okay. Whew. The help folks are, oh, Amber. I did not get to talk to Amber at any point. Duncan, do you want to ask your question so I can start thinking of an answer while everybody comes back?
I absolutely can. I've frozen because I just wanted to test my computer again, and no, my graphics card is not big enough, and it fell over. Yeah. So the question was, can you flip screens natively in Can you mirror screen in or not? Because some people were finding issues between their hand side mirroring and the way the text was coming through into Zoom.
Okay. I don't believe you can do a mirror flip in I don't think so. I haven't found that button, but I've also never Googled it. So I'll say that. And I'll say that when text is like looks backwards to you in Zoom, it's always correct to us. So that's the weird thing for people to get used to, is if they're used to their camera being flipped, it'll look backwards to them, but it won't to us. And so that's about turning that off in Zoom. And for me, I always have it off so it never looks backwards to me, but know that, like, you know, regardless of what it looks like on like Tatiana's side right now, it will always look correct to the people you're presenting to. Yeah. So welcome back, everyone. We had like success. I was going to say to varying degrees, but I would say like we had success, even if not comfort, with the program in all of the rooms. So I wanted to create just like maybe 5 minutes for us to ask some general questions about the software. I have been using it to facilitate for the last 2 weeks. And so if you just want to throw out a question about the software as a facilitator or as it pertains to facilitation, I would love you to do that for the next few minutes. So yeah, what questions do you all have that we can answer that we haven't yet?
If you are not the initiator of the Zoom call, but are a co-host, can you use the software?
Anywhere your webcam gets pulled in, you can use the software. Anywhere. Like if you Google Meet, basically every place that you use your webcam, you are using your Zoom right now. Charlotte thinks that your webcam is the Mmhmm software, right? So you're not a co-host right now, and we are currently seeing your Mmhmm setup. So anywhere that the software exists, or anywhere your webcam exists, you can use this.
Okay, and will Mmhmm be accessing my camera even if I close the program?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rachel, and then Andrew. Rachel.
I have
Yeah, perfect.
one practical one, which is normally in screen sharing, you have to do the optimizing sound thing to playing a video.
Yep.
So I think probably the simplest thing is just to test it. So can you hear this sound?
Nope.
Okay, so I guess the question is, how do I get it so that the video sound plays?
Okay. Oh, Duncan's got an answer. Duncan, will you throw it in the chat? Oh no, say it out loud, Duncan. Go ahead.
So the way I got around this with OBS is using a program called Voice Meter Banana as a little audio mixer. So what Zoom is doing is it's just pulling your microphone, and the feed coming from the video isn't the microphone. So you need to basically you make a virtual microphone, which is all of the sound coming from Windows, and then you can play videos.
So Rachel, I think, so yes, Duncan, you can absolutely do that in OBS. And I think that is probably a way to do it. Rachel, what I was going to say is you can bring in media natively. And I wonder if you actually brought in the video natively, like to it, if you could play it through without having to add the extra software that Duncan was just suggesting. So as in, like, if you could download the video with its audio and then upload it to Mmhmm, you could bring it in natively and not have to do that.
Okay, can I do one more test?
Yep. Well, actually, Rachel, I'll say hold it. Can you stick around for the second hour?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I had another question, sorry.
Okay.
The only other one was just if it'd be helpful to understand from your point of view as you've been using it, what the advantage of having the scenes separated out as opposed to just having one scene with all your slides in it.
So just being able to do even just these things separately and have it look fundamentally different, you have to have them set up as different scenes. So like I could not have these exist on the same scene because I am different in the frame, right? Like this is me as kind of full frame, and this is me just as a silhouette. And that means it has to be a different scene. So basically, if you're like, I want a bunch of slides, but I want them to look all the exact same, and I want my setup to look the exact same, then that's all one scene. But as soon as you want to change your background or your presence in the slide, then it needs to be a new scene. Yep. Andrew.
Yes, Meg, thanks for holding this. And my question is just is kind of like a macro facilitation question, maybe in terms of like knowing ahead of time what you like, how can you predict what you might need in a session? Yeah, like can you talk to any of the prep work that you do to like make sure that you have in what you need so that you're not trying to like do it on the fly?
So I would say that like, one thing to think about is just like, how do you currently do it? Is it just that you're like, when you go to screen share, are you like building stuff on the fly? Or are you just like, oh, I know I can just screen share this right now?
Fair question.
Because I think that's a big part of the prep, right? Because I think sometimes we introduce software and people are like, oh my gosh, like I have to do all this extra work. And I'm like, or you can literally just do this, you know, and just stop screen sharing to share your slides and instead be like, hey, my name is Meg, and use this as like a very simple thing. So I've usually got, for me, I go into a session knowing that I'm either going to use slides, do a screen share, or just have myself, right? I usually go in knowing those like that level, right? And so I'll set up this scene for screen share ahead of time, knowing that I'm going to probably do this screen share, or like what I did with the AHA slides. I set that up ahead of time because I knew we were going to use AHA slides. It's fast enough that if I was like, oh crap, I need a screen share, and you know how to build that screen share really quick, you could. Or if you were like, screw it, we're doing the old fashioned, like I'm hitting screen share in Zoom, right? You could. But for me, I generally know ahead of time if I'm going to definitely want to screen share. And do it in a way that like this would be advantageous or interesting. So that's what the prep work looks like. It's just like, for me, I did a session last week where I was like, usually I use OBS for this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring in the slides. I'm going to set up the kind of like, there's slides that float. And then I did a couple slides like this. Well, not like this, but like where the slides were big and I was big, and they were kind of, I did that. And that's all I did ahead of time. So I would just say it's about translating what you currently do into how the software can help reinforce that. Yeah. Okay, I see Rachel M. I'm going to hold your question. Rachel, are you able to stick around for the second hour? Great. Okay, so I just want to like do a wrap up in case anybody can't stick around for the second hour, to say that it's been a little bit since we did a software brain jam, and I forgot just how much of a big experiment this all is when we try to teach like 12 people or 15 people live a software together, and just how different PCs and Macs are. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for bearing with that process and my rustiness in teaching people this software. I hope that you learned something. If you can stick around for the second hour, there's so much more we haven't gotten into. And if you can't stick around for the second hour, we will record it, and you can be a big nerd and watch it on YouTube and see all the things that you didn't do. So yeah, I just want to give all of us like props for trying something new and for putting ourselves out there. Yeah. And know that like this is probably the session that I run where I talk the most and you talk the least. So if you're ever like, Meg says facilitation, but like I didn't talk at all, that's because of how this goes. But the second hour we'll do a lot more like, I don't know, just kind of open space for hanging out. So if you have to take off, I hope to see you at another Facilitator Cards event in the future. Please feel free to email me with more questions on that we didn't get to if you have to take off. Know and look out for the video that will come after. And yeah, until next time, I hope to see you around the internet.
I do have to head out, Meg, but can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
As a new person, and this being my first time, first of all, thank you very much. I had a lot of fun. This is very
good.
cool. I listened to Chad Littlefield's video. I follow his stuff, and then you did a video with him. So I literally today I saw the video and I saw you and him chatting. So I was like, oh, I checked you out, and this meeting came up. I was like, that sounds interesting. I've been meaning to check out. So anyway, thank you very much. Number one. Number two, how often do you do these sessions?
So brain jams, I would say they like every month or two.
Okay.
I would say, yeah, like probably more than quarterly, but less than monthly.
Okay. All right. I'm cool. I'm cool with some flexibility and loose schedules. That's great. And I saw that there's like a way to sign up for the newsletter so I could get invites for the future. So I hope to see you guys at a future one too.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tatiana. It was great to see you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for the great conversations. Bye.
Somebody said, I want to know how you do the hand reaction thing that was in your video. Okay, so let's just start there and then we'll do kind of a question dump and see where we're going to take this second hour. So if you are on rooms versus presenter, if you go to presenter right now, and under the category, at least on my computer, I don't know on PC, you might have to help me out here. There's a thing that says effects, and right under that, it says show big hands. Okay, if you click that and give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs up after you click that. Big hands not in Windows. Oh, come on. What? Build the software equally, everyone. Yes. It just doesn't exist. Did we Google it? It just doesn't exist, Rachel. I am so sorry.
Yeah, I was on their website and it said big hands. Oh, only available on macOS. So.
Okay, well, this will be my like largest complaint to is like either make it Mac exclusive or make it equal.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Software
I'm
equity.
in Mac
Please.
and I don't see it either.
You don't see it either. Are you on the presenter tab?
I am.
Under, do you see all the like thing that says effects?
Wait. So if I click on show big hands, what should happen?
You got to raise your hand and give me like a thumbs up right in your window. Like write it so that it can see you. You might need to be in a different scene. The presenter only. Oh, yeah, it worked. There you go, Charlotte. Okay, so for people who have big hands, I'm so sorry, PC users. There's a couple that are worth knowing. So there's give me a call. Then there's I love this one so much. I know, I'm sorry, Zuzka. Yes, I know it's too much. And then you can do a count like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, imagine where all the participants could big hand you. So me and my sister who work together, we have been exploring the software and now we're like, okay, thumbs up. It's ridiculous. Okay, so here's what I would like to do at the beginning of hour 2. I'd like to give us all 2 minutes to like refill our water bottles or like stretch or whatever. So that's what I need to do. I need 2 minutes to like refill this thing. And I need to turn off big hands because I talk with my hands too much and it just becomes a lot. So this is what I'm going to invite you to do. I'm going to invite you to turn off your camera for 2 minutes, take a moment to like decompress, take everything in, and then we'll come back and we'll hear all the questions and places you want to go, and then we'll jump into it. Okay. All right. See you in 2. Man, I could have muted that. My first, just as we're all coming back, I'll tell you a story. My first in-person was a hybrid facilitation in like 2 years, was last summer. And half of us were in the room and half of us were online. And somebody in the room sneezed. And then they got pissed that people could hear them sneeze because for a year and a half, no one had heard them sneeze. And they were like, it's just, so, I hate that you all heard that. And I was like, yeah, man, this is what life is like. We have to hear each other sneeze. So I was like, oh my God, that was rude. I coughed and it didn't need to happen out loud. Okay. So Rachel's been waiting, and then we're just kind of going to go around the horn, around the room, and just see what questions or like what you're hoping to get out of the second hour. And it can be everything from like, I didn't even get this thing in the first hour, to like, I think there's a feature we haven't gotten into and I want to know what the hell that is. So like, please feel free to do any of that. Since we're doing the raising hands button, not like the big hands, but like using the raise hand feature in Zoom. Yeah. Let's feel free to keep using that if you want to jump into the row of question askers. Okay, great. So we'll go Rachel, Zuzka, Duncan, and move from there. Go ahead, Rachel.
Thanks, and thanks, Zuzka. I just learned how to change the skin tone on my hand.
I'm so white, it just like blends in.
Right, same. My question was, Meg, do you know if there's a way to name or rename the scenes? Scene 1 does not tell me what that scene looks like. And I was just wondering if you have found something. I cannot, but.
Okay, I can show you how to do it on a Mac. I can show you how to do it on a Mac. And since that's like kind of a contained question, I'll just do that right now. And then we'll move into, if there's any like more expansive questions, we'll kind of wait to hear everybody's. But so on a Mac, when you click on the scene, like I'm literally clicking on scene 1 or scene 2, scene 3, it'll bring up a list of them. And then there's 3 dots. Is it different on a PC? Cool. So on a Mac, there's 3 dots, and then there's the option for rename and delete. I'm going to take a wild guess and say on PC it has something to do with the right click button, but that's just a guess, and that most PCs really love right click. So that's my thought. Oh yeah, or maybe like a double click on the on what it currently.
No dice, but I'll keep trying, knowing that it is theoretically possible on some version of this. Thank you.
All right, we're going to keep learning this level of difference. Zuzka.
Ooh, sorry, I was all caught up in trying to figure that out. The question that I have is kind of a question that I asked you about, which is that this and like OBS seems to be kind of in the middle of this valley of like YouTube, which is like super, like cool cuts, like really bright, right, like highly produced stuff that like we're used to seeing, and like the boredom of Zoom.
Yep.
And so it does like zhuzh up Zoom, but I feel like what happens then is I start like when I'm in a more engaging presentation like this, I like my brain wants it to be YouTube. You know what I mean? Like it like wants it to be like a little more like crisp and stuff. Is that something that you think about? And is there like a way that, I don't know, are there tips or tricks that you have to make it feel like, for example, like Tatiana was like showing us that her, like, for example, like you were being like cut out really well when you're green screening, even though you don't have green screen behind you. And we couldn't exactly figure out why it wasn't working for her. Maybe it was like the color match between like her background and so yeah, just though I guess those types of things, or like just how to like pace to keep people's attention when it seems like once you've got a big hand on the screen, it's like, oh, like, is like, it's, I think your brain starts to look for like YouTube type production, which clearly you can't do live.
Yep. Okay. So I don't want to launch into that, but I think it's a really great conversation to have. So I'll hear Duncan's question and Charlotte's, and then we'll kind of take the conversation where it goes. Go ahead, Duncan.
Yeah, hey, so sorry, I missed the very start of Zuzka's question, which might just be the same as my question. So my question, Meg, is you've said you've swapped from facilitating in OBS into Mmhmm. Is that just because you want to learn Mmhmm and you're learning stuff about it, or have you found inherent benefits for facilitating with Mmhmm rather than in Zoom? So I watched your little video on Butter, and that seems to have some inherent features that to facilitation that are useful. And I wasn't sure if Mmhmm was the same, or it's just being a virtual camera.
Cool. Yes, I do have thoughts, and I will share them. I will say I'm not going to use Mmhmm. There's going to be fewer times I will say I'll use Mmhmm over OBS, but in terms of like learning curve, they are fundamentally different. Like Amber's nodding along. Amber, did you try to learn OBS?
Unsuccessfully.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh.
And what I found, like someone asked me to like show them a couple of things in OBS recently. And I was like, oh, you just do this. And they were like, whoa. Whoa. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how much I've spent time in it. So I just think it's like, there are some people who are like, I'm never going to learn OBS, but I want to do the Zoom magic, Meg. Like I really want to like I want to make my slides appear here, and to be like, you can do that, export your slides, import them into Mmhmm, press this button. Like that is just so fundamentally easier. So for most people, I think Mmhmm is like all they need. And then there's like people who are geeks and want to really get into, or like are like, I don't want the browser bar to show up in my screen share. And then I'd be like, go to OBS, right? That level of control is like available in OBS. So I can answer more, but that's my kind of like preview answer, I guess. So
I spent about 6 hours trying to just get OBS to recognize my camera and export it to Zoom. And like I watched Meg's tutorial. I watched a bunch of other, I watched your tutorial twice actually, and like messaged you on Instagram about it, and like watched a bunch of other stuff. And when it was just not working for me for whatever reason. So
that's such a bummer. Are you on a Mac, Amber?
Yes.
And it wasn't the system preference?
Nope.
Bummer. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, Charlotte, I'll hear your question and then we'll see where our conversation goes.
Okay, I had two questions.
Great.
One was, it appears that I am not able to screen share.
Right now, you're not.
Something on my desktop or something in the browser.
Okay. In Mmhmm, it's not able to do that. Yep. I know what it is, and I can help you with that. Yep.
Okay. The other thing, hold on, let me scroll back. I put it here in the chat. Let me find it.
Oh, okay, great.
About that, and cannot open screen share. Oh, can I share Google Docs?
In your video, like be able to kind of display them,
Yes.
like as if a screen share?
Yes.
Anything that you can pull up on your computer, you can tell Mmhmm, look at this thing, show that.
So I can point it toward the browser, for example, to see something in Google Docs.
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's if I can get it to screen share. But
yes. So the problem you're having now, Charlotte, is you're on a Mac, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Note to myself, we did this before, is to have you all rename yourselves with like, I'm a Mac and I'm a PC before your names. That would have been just so smooth to do an hour and a half ago. But okay, perfect. So Charlotte, what's going on is that your computer doesn't have permission to, doesn't have your computer's permission to share the screen. And so what you need to do is you need to open up in your Mac the thing called System Preferences.
Mm-hmm.
Once you're in System Preferences, there's a thing called Security and Privacy.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you're in that, you want to go to the thing that says Screen Recording.
Screen recording, it's going to be in the sidebar there.
Going to be in the sidebar. You're going to have to scroll down.
Okay, screen recording.
So in the bottom left, there's an unlock.
Yep. Mhm.
You need to unlock it by typing in your computer's password.
Yep.
I heard it. And then once you do that, you need to like tick the box where it says "mmhmm."
I don't see "mmhmm" in the box.
Okay. So how do we do? So what you need to do then is you need to get, let's see here. Okay, so we've got one more step. We've got like 1 or 2 more steps, Charlotte. And then we'll get into these other larger conversations. So Charlotte, back in "mmhmm." Can't get over it. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead and hit new slide.
New slide. Okay.
And then this Mac or iOS device.
Yep.
Select that.
I
Do
did.
you have an error message now?
No, I don't see anything.
Okay. Nothing happens when you select that?
Nope.
Okay. If you go back to your system preferences, does it call it up? Is it in that list now?
No.
Okay. You might have stumped me then. So what I will say is, Charlotte, at the end of, if you can stick around to the end of the brain jam, we can do like a me and you spend 5 minutes looking at your screen and see if we can figure it out. If you're up for that.
Okay.
Okay, great. Because what we just did is what I know how to do. And we'll see if I give you permission to like share your screen, if we can figure it out together. Okay, we can do that at the end. If you're able to stick around. Okay, so one thing that's interesting actually that ties Zuzka's question to Duncan's question, which is like, you kind of want it to be YouTube. And also like, what is the benefit of "mmhmm" over other software? So yeah, okay, let me open this. Okay, so Zuzka, I agree with you that production value is like, when it goes up, you're like, be much better, right? Like there's, and I think that's true. And I'll tell you that like, every time I do this in a workshop, people are like they are just like, what is the Zoom magic? I want it, help me get it, right? And so this is not a high production value, but people are just so stoked by it because it's different and it's not a screen share, right? And screen shares to me it is surprising, but it's also, screen shares are disorienting for participants and they're disorienting for you. And so even just to me, like being able to like just do the spotlight and be like, welcome to the brain jam, everyone. Okay, this is what brain jams are. Like, this is amazing to people, and it isn't a high production value. I didn't even make this slide on Canva, right? Like there are higher production value slides that you can do. And this is just built into "mmhmm." One thing we didn't get into is like, you can change the slide setups, which I think is fun and fast. But like, so I'll just say that like, I think that it is enough of a production value bump for a lot of people that it's worth doing, without the like, oh, now I need it to be everything. And I think if you use it in really practical ways rather than just production value ways, then people are like, I see why it's happening, versus like, whoa, Meg's like trying to put on a show, you know? Like even this, so this, well, no, yeah, there, this is just, I basically told, new slide, import my logo, and then I scaled it and I put it right down there as like, this is, thinks this is a slide, right? And so a lot of people have been like, Meg, how do you get your logo in the corner? And I'm like, well, you have to learn this software called OBS, which is going to take you 4 hours to like set up. You know what I mean? And for a lot of people, like, this is all they want to be able to do. They just want to be able to put their logo in the corner. So like, that's a one scene setup with one slide. So those would be the things that I would say like to do before the YouTube like levels of production. And like what Rachel was saying of like, oh, well, like, how do I show a video in it? I'm like, well, I don't know. I think you might be able to if you do natively bring in the video, but maybe when you show a video, you still do the screen recording, or you still do a screen share, right? Like what's cool is you can do both. Oh man, Amber's got some cool slides going on over there. But okay, I'm going to show you something that connects it between YouTube and why you would use Duncan's question. So there's a feature in for you to record in it, right? Like you can record. So like I could do a tutorial online about AHA slides and just record it natively in right? Like, and be like, okay, so like, this is how I use AHA slides. And I could film this whole thing basically with what you're seeing in my Zoom window. But there's a weirder thing you can do in that like would take a ton of software from OBS. And that is that you can play those videos as your Zoom window. So
Oh, Meg, we lost your sound whenever you clicked what you just clicked, like your audio.
So
it's back.
It's back. Okay. I don't know why I lost it. Okay, so I'm going to try it. We'll see if it works. I recorded a session, or I recorded something earlier in right? I recorded myself with this slide. Okay. And I'm going to try playing it here. And we'll see if it works. Yeah, we might break the internet. It's really freaky if it works. If you don't hear any sound, just say that out loud, like 5 seconds in. So has this kind of amazing and freaky feature where you can record right in the software. So you are watching a recording.
What?
It's coming through a bit delayed.
That I made right before the.
Yeah, very choppy for me.
And it's amazing still.
It's very cool.
Okay, so I don't know why it's not playing smoothly. When I did this earlier this morning, it was flawless and it was freaky because I was wearing the exact same shirt and then I just pressed go and it was like, let me try it. So let me do something here. Let me turn off OBS because it might just be like, look, we can't have 3 virtual cameras like streaming at the exact same time. So let me try it turning off OBS. And let me try it again and we'll see if it comes through. I've
got a dash now, folks, but lovely meeting you all.
Bye, Duncan. So has this kind of amazing and freaky feature where you can record right in the software. So you are watching a recording that I made right before the Brain Jam, where it looks exactly the same as the, what you've been seeing all of the Brain Jam, but this is a recording and I just pressed playback within the software. So I'm gonna disappear now and current Meg is gonna come back and yeah, we can all kind of be a little bit freaked out by that or excited, but I just wanted to show you that this feature exists.
I feel like you could totally do a Later That Same Life with this. Are you familiar with that concept? Like this guy took video of himself as like an 18-year-old and then like interspersed it with like him interviewing himself.
So I came up with practical ways to use that feature this morning. So have you ever wanted to give directions that you've given 1,000,000 times while you set up the breakout rooms? Okay, everybody, so let me go ahead and give you some directions about the breakout rooms. And then you're sitting there opening breakout rooms. Like, I'm so sad that Duncan, I'm gonna like say the things so that Duncan can like ideally hear them later, but like that in OBS would be a nightmare. Like that would take so much work to set up and so much time, and is just like boom, done. Like I recorded that 10 minutes before the session because I'm like, oh, I'm in the same shirt. I'm in this, oh my God, I have to turn off big hands. Like I'm in the same shirt, it's the same lighting, like all of those things, right? And so that is just something like fundamentally different that is trying to merge, I think, synchronous and asynchronous like into this weird hybrid world, or that not trying to, like, that's something that they're just like, you could do that. Like, why give the same Zoom presentation 1,000,000 times? Why don't you just be like, hey, everybody, welcome to my Zoom, click, and then just be like, play it, like play the lecture, play the, you know, the, like the thing that you say every single time. And there's no reason you couldn't do that. So, yep. Yeah, that's what freaks me out, Zuzka, is what you just said in the chat, which is like, how will they know it's not live? That's what really, it's like a deep fake of yourself. Like,
you show up in their, like, at their place and you're like, hey, you're
like, I mean, there's almost no, like, this is really where like presenters versus facilitators, people who don't have people who do the same thing every time, like you could be like, okay, yeah, so I'm going to be doing a presentation today, blah, 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 blah. And you could just have it go and work on other stuff for 2 hours and then be like, what's up, everybody? I'm ready for some Q&A. This is wild. This is where like facilitators are going to be like, that's how you know it's live, because they incorporated you into the moment. But like, yeah, it's wild. And that's how I feel. I feel like it's just wild. It's just wild.
It's really cool. Lots of possibilities for sure.
Yeah. What a time to be alive. So that's one reason I would use over OBS, like that specific thing. And I think that like, if it was really minor, I don't think I would tell anyone. If I was just like, I'm just going to use this for breakout room instructions, I would just do it and like hope for the best. Or I'd be like, I just want to let you know I'm like testing some new features later. If you want to know what they were, like, I'll tell you after the session, and then just give it a go. But yeah, like that is just like a super wild software feature.
Unless it does exactly what it did for us, which is like, oh, it's choppy. Oh, it's stopped.
Could you imagine? Let me give you some, but you could just say, oh, my video glitched, right? Like, yep. I do think that it was because I was running like 3 different softwares, all trying to use the exact same video feed. So it was just like, I can't do it. Yeah, so like that's a feature set that's in and you can do multiple takes and you can manage all of those takes within and then you can publish them on the internet to a thing that isn't YouTube, which is really interesting. Like they can actually live as a separate video where people can click through the slides to move through the video. Like each scene can be its own like chapter. So like this is the like, you know, we barely got to build all the things you could build in and like now I'm telling you, like there's actually like a whole other software within this, which is all about video recording. When it comes to facilitation, I really think, you know, this is where it's at, is like this level of stuff. And like maybe just like better backgrounds, you know, like just, whoa, that's bad. This one, you know, like just kind of novel. I bet you we could get a timer background, you know, things like that, or be like, okay, I'm going to give you 60 seconds, start the room, and it would start counting down. I haven't tried
Well,
that.
there's even like a Google timer, right? So you could just share that from your screen.
Yep, totally. And that's the kind of thing that like bringing that into your window, you would never screen share a timer, or it'd be so weird to, right? But if you brought it into your window, it's not that weird. How do I go? This is the one thing I will say. I don't like how they do the full screen thing. I don't know why it's not a mode. Like, why do I have to click 4 buttons to get back to a normal video? Strange.
Do you think they're expecting you to change your camera in Zoom and just like go back?
I don't know. That's a good thing for us to flag though. So like your camera right now is set to and next time you come into Zoom, it will default to that. So if you're like, oh, please don't use every time, just make sure to, if you come back in and you're like, why is it giving me this weird, like if you quit it will do this. And you can fix that just by, oh my gosh, that's the OBS one. You can fix that just by like selecting your actual camera. So just know that like, that's what happens if isn't open, but it's still selected as your virtual camera. Andrew's in an existential crisis. Do you want to talk it out, Andrew? I'd love to not hear my voice.
I would love to hear his thoughts on this.
I mean, I think they're really like the novelty piece, like in this like point, and where it will likely get worse, where novelty is like really one of the few comforts that I mean, personally, that I feel like, man, like this is something new, and like I feel like genuinely like surprised and like satisfied, and like anything other than grief and mourning and like shame or regret or whatever, like this moment to like share a bit of like magic and salve is like, I just is incredible.
Yeah. I think that's why, like, I think if people just did this presenter thing and then just did big hands and you're just like, okay, love the session today, everyone. Like, I just realized my camera's not on. So it was just boring hands, but like, thank you so much. It was so good to see you. Like, heart, you know, like it's just so novel that it's just, it brings levity and like fun in all by itself. And like, I do think that's worth doing. Like, I don't know if it's worth paying $10 a month for, like, just this, if this was the only thing you were doing, it's just like, okay, let me call later. Like, you know, like, I don't know, but it is so fun. And Zoom is not fun. Like, it's not, it's stale and functional. And like, that's it, you know, like, and hacky. I mean, it works, like it works. You can make it fun. I have had a lot of fun in Zooms, but like, yeah, and there's tons of Zoom games, but like the platform isn't fun. We can just make it fun. Yeah. I'm looking at what other places should we go in this second hour, everybody? There is another feature we didn't talk about that's worth knowing. So there's this thing called Copilot. Yes, Amber, do you know it? Did you see the button?
I saw the button and I thought it looked really cool, and I tried copying and pasting it to myself, but that kind of broke everything. So
okay, great. So here's what we're gonna do, Amber. I'm gonna send this link in the chat, and I will. Oh no, I'm not gonna send it in the chat because then I'm gonna have to tell you to resist, and you don't need to. I'm gonna send a link to Amber. Amber, if you, oh God, if you open up that link that I just put in the direct message. It's
downloading your slides.
It's downloading.
So weird. Okay. Whoa. So I need to turn camera back on. There.
Yeah.
What?
So now click through it.
Like this?
Yeah. Do you see what's happening on my computer?
No, I have to split my screen. Oh, but it's changing. It's on both of us.
Yes.
Cool.
So, and it won't do the screen share quite right because of,
so if I turn it off on mine though, I can just advance it on yours without it duplicating like that.
Yes. Hands free, everybody.
Clicking all of your things.
Can you click scene 4? I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, it does work. Cool. So on your side, it wouldn't work because it's not sharing the right screen, but on mine, it is. So this is something this is another thing, Duncan, that in OBS, people are like, well, but how do you control like somebody else's OBS? And I'm like, yeah, you can't. But in this one, you can. And I can still do it too. Like I can adjust it back, but Amber can now keep going. Like Amber can like click through it. I need to change that. Can I change it while we're in Copilot? Let's see. Oh yeah, boom. Great. So like Amber can control my slides while I'm talking.
And you can still edit them while Amber is controlling the flow of them. That is unreal.
So I can't seem to change, I can't edit the text of them, but I can resize them and move them. Oh, yeah. Yep. So the answer of the hour is the Copilot button for Mac is at the top left. Andrew is having another existential crisis.
I'm telling you, I feel like Copilot is going to be just like Big Hands. And it's going to be like, oh, sorry, it's only a function for Mac users.
Is it?
That feels right.
I think so too. Because it feels like it needs to communicate like so much over it. So yeah, this feels like one of those things where it's like, like do it right or do Mac only. Like stop doing this like halfway house thing or this like half-baked thing for PC. Yep. Okay, here's a really freaky question. Amber, can you click slide 6? Scene 6, sorry. Scene 6. What I'm wondering is, can you press play? So there's a button that says over where it says above scene 1, it says edit and playback. Do you have that on your side?
Sorry, where?
Above where the new slide button is, for me, it says edit and playback.
Yep.
Do you have playback?
I do.
Can you press playback?
I think it's, I don't know why. Oh, this?
So there's a button that says playback, and then there's
there's a play button in the middle.
Yeah. Can you press that?
I did.
You did? Okay. Great. So I don't know if you can Copilot the like true matrix is what I'm wondering. Cool. Rachel, it was great to have you here. Okay, yeah, so Copilot is another
it popped up. It said you're currently watching a recording.
Yeah, this is a dumb thing that I did. This slide is live. Like this slide is what you see in the video, but it's not actually the video. So this is a weird thing now where like I have to clarify that I'm live. It's very strange.
This slide is a lie.
Thinking you're recording.
Yeah, this whole time has just been a recording. This was just an elaborate ruse. Okay, Amber, I'm gonna turn off Copilot. And I'm gonna turn it off.
That was fun. Thank you.
Great. So yeah, like that's a really cool feature that might only live on Mac. And that's a really cool thing for people who do co-presentations. And what Amber did, just to like make it explicit, what you did was you in Zoom changed your video so that we didn't both have that, right? And so it would be like, whoever is actually active right now is gonna make sure that their video is set to Mmhmm. And whoever isn't, use your regular camera or use your webcam directly. And that way the slides don't happen simultaneously. Yep. Cool. What other things do you want to explore, question, existentially get into crisis with? What do you think?
That was very 80s music video vibe, that blue one.
Yeah, I like this one. This is for sad announcements. Yeah, like I have bad news, everybody. Anyway. See, that is a YouTube video. Like Amber looks like you are fully in a YouTube video. We just need music. Oh, there's another, there's a pointer. We didn't play this yet. So that if you were like, hey, welcome to the Brain Jam.
Tell me everything.
Pointer is in presenter right underneath. There's a thing called pointer. Yeah. And if you hold it down, you can actually write. If you like click and wiggle. Yeah, Andrew?
Yeah, there's a pencil function. At least on Windows, it's like one of the.
It might be the same thing.
Okay. Like it seemed like it disappears. Like
yes.
If you couldn't retain, if you were, scribing or something and like taking notes on the screen, you couldn't necessarily like keep those for later.
Yeah, this pointer feature, if you like click and hold, you can write, you can doodle with it. And then it will go away as soon as I let go.
There's a magnifying glass.
Yeah, it's a little freaky.
This is the coolest thing.
See, I have a lava lamp back here, just in case no one's noticed yet. There's a lava lamp back there. There's also some facilitator cards. Too much? What do you think? What do you all think of? What do you think of Mmhmm? Like, would you ever use it? I just talk.
This
talk
is
to me.
amazing, and I love it. And I feel like I will never not use it now.
Okay.
It just speaks to my soul. It's so whimsical.
Yeah. It is. I think it's whimsical because like you can also just like move yourself around.
Tears of joy.
Like, hey guys, I have a big announcement. Like, I don't know,
I love that you don't have to choose between yourself and your content. Like it really can be both. And like those moments where you're like, well, I kind of want them to be able to see this, but no, it's really about me or about what I'm saying. Like, it's a really frustrating, juggling game with the share screen and what's the right share screen. And that I love it. Love it. And agree, like I'm actually like a kind of a tech nerd, but like I don't really have time to learn OBS, I think. so like not even the ability, but just like low barrier. Like I have a faculty member that I think I can show this to, be like, here, next level, you can communicate with your students, not via PowerPoint. I love it.
Or just like, or your PowerPoint won't be the worst and most boring thing ever, right? Like this could be a PowerPoint and people are like, look at that. The professor's like cut out. That's so funny. Yeah. At least one class of novelty worth of interesting, Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if they were like, okay, are you guys paying attention? Hey, paying attention over there? Like, Amazing. Zuzka, what about you? You've seen so many softwares.
I'm actually on a refurbisher site to see if I can get a Mac right now because I just want the big hands and the Copilot. But I can't. I don't think that's in the budget right now.
Yeah, this is not the advice you're asking for, but I wouldn't go refurbish. I'd go Mac Mini. Brand new Mac Mini base model. Still $600, but it is going to be more powerful than the top of the line, whatever came before it. It's not what you're asking for, but it is the information you need. Andrew, what about you? Can you see yourself using it? Is it just like a fun, what do you think?
Yeah, I got to figure out if my computer is actually going to keep up.
Yeah.
Or if I need to like adjust my bad habit with 80 tabs so that there's enough like bandwidth. I think like if I can figure that part out, or if I can figure out a way to, you know, bump up whatever I need to bump up on my computer, I could absolutely see myself using it.
Yeah. Charlotte, what about you?
Yeah, if I can get it to work, I am absolutely going to use it.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to make sure I can open stuff up so I can play with it. But no, it's like, I'll be using it next week.
Yeah. And I cool. I really hope we can get it to work. I also like want you all to know, like, this is not an ad for Mmhmm, in the sense that like, I do think like, I would have said this to Duncan, or I'm saying it to Duncan right now, because you're watching the recording, Duncan, which is, I'm not going to use it over OBS for a lot of things, because I just got really used to OBS. Like with OBS, so one thing that I will mention for facilitating is you have to have Mmhmm selected to move through the slides, right? It has to be your top level, like what application is active. And because of that, if you don't have two monitors, which I do have two monitors, like, but if you don't have two monitors, that's a really annoying thing, because it has to be the top level thing and your Zoom has to live somewhere else. But with OBS, I've got it set up to my Stream Deck where I don't have to have OBS be my top level feature or my like top level thing. And so I get to click through my slides or change my setup and change my views without ever having to open the software. And with Mmhmm, I just can't do that. Like I can't not have myself clicking in the software. So because I got really used to OBS, I probably won't use Mmhmm as much. Because I know all of how to get it set up and it really bugs me that I can't crop the top bar out of this. Like I so don't want you to be able to see the tab, right? Because like if I hadn't hid all of my bookmarks, you'd see all my bookmarks too. So like there is a way to hide that in Chrome, which is helpful. But like in OBS, I could just crop this to be exactly where I want it. And I got really spoiled doing stuff like that. So like there are things with Mmhmm that I'm just like, I don't think this is exactly built for me. And because of that, oh gosh. And because of that, like those little features don't exist yet. And I want them to. But I think for most people, like just being able to do this sort of stuff is just like a game changer. And I do think that this is the lowest, for me, this is the lowest barrier to entry software that I've encountered that can do it.
Can you show us a PowerPoint that you've selected so that it shows up there?
Yeah, let me see if I have. So
I actually really like the slides that you've built in there because they have like the transparency, so you can still see the majority of your background, and that makes it feel less like visually imposing.
Yeah. We're kind of experiencing a weird thing right now, which is, oh, I know what's happening. My slides are off. I'm just like, why isn't it working? If your slides are off, it just won't work. Okay, so this is a session that I did. You gotta go, bye. So this is a session I did like 2 weeks ago, and I actually built like a transparent slide in.
How do you do that?
See that
You
this is
can
this
do
is the
that?
this is the next
that
level
Canva?
stuff. This is in Canva. Yep. So like I built this in Canva and I made the background transparent and then I imported it as an image, right? And so it has no background and therefore this is what the slide looks like. And then these are Canva slides. And this is a different way to show, like, this is like, you know, making the slide really big and me half screen. So like, this is actually what I did for, oh yeah. This is actually what I did in like a presentation that I did last week. Like these are the slides that I used.
Okay.
And all of these slides weren't built in, they were built in Canva and then imported in.
Oh, you can import slides into.
Yep, you can. There's even a button. There's even a button that says import an entire presentation. So like if you export a PowerPoint, you can import the whole PowerPoint and it will do each one as its own individual slide. So in Canva, that's where I design my PowerPoints is in Canva, but you can export or, you know, Google Slides, whatever it is, whatever software you use right now to build your slides. If you download them as a PDF, you can import them into.
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
This has been amazing. Thank you so
Yes.
much for sharing everything and giving us the platform to explore.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Thanks for going on this experiment and journey. Maybe we'll close out here and me and Charlotte will try to hack her computer for the next 5 minutes. Yeah, Rachel and Amber, I know you both have been to previous Brain Jams and it's just always good to see your face.
Thanks so much for having us. We'll see you next time.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Bye. All right, Charlotte.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, Charlotte, is I am going to make you co-host.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you share your screen so that I can see what your looks like.
Okay. Share.
And you are on a Mac.
I am on a Mac.
So I don't know what we're looking at here. It might be easiest is if you share your whole desktop, if that's something you would be comfortable doing.